JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 24th of June 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So the content we let me just bear with me one moment, guys. Right. The content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Quick update on what's happening here globally, though. So yep, unfortunately the figure continues to rise, but yep, we'll keep on monitoring this, and it will be quite interesting to see how everything is gonna shape up tomorrow. And yep, we'll pick up on this tomorrow as well. Now, jumping into the charts, so the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX. This morning I talked about this area right here, the 12,484 zone, where at that time, at the time of my video, at the time of the analysis, the price, the cash index was balancing near this level. So as you can see, it opened up here and kind of drifted back down. But what I was also saying, that in a way, if the price remains between these two levels, between the 12,484 zone on the upside and the 12,273 to 12,133 level on the downside, we'll take a bit of a neutral stand, because even if it drops below this 12,133, there could be a possibility for this one to drift lower in the near term. However, of course, don't get me wrong, this move lower could be seen as a temporary correction before another leg of buying. But again, for now, at this point in time where the index is currently trading at, it's a little bit of a tricky one for us. So that's why we'll keep an eye on these two levels that are the ones that I've mentioned, and we'll wait for a clear confirmation break through one of those in order to aim for a further directional move, at least a short-term directional move. Jumping into the S&P 500, here the situation is quite interesting as well. I mean, the cash index has declined a little bit as well, and if we look at the cash index and where it's currently balancing it at, is the price is currently sitting at around 3,100 zone, so basically slightly below where it ended the day yesterday. As you can see, also the index failed to move above this barrier. I talked about this one this week, the 3,155 barrier. We need to see a nice good strong move above it, and ideally a daily close above this in order to consider higher levels. The index failed to do so yesterday, and today again we are seeing a bit of weakness. However, we're not going to rush into the kind of examining the downside yet, because for us to consider lower levels, we would prefer to wait for a drop below the current lowest point of this week, near the 3,079 level, which marks the low of the 22nd of June. And like I said, that's currently the lowest point of this week. And a drop below this would kind of place the price below the 21-day EMA, and maybe more sellers could see this as a good opportunity to step in and drive the index towards the the current lowest point of June near the 2965, 66 area, roughly around there. It also, by the way, coincides with the 100 and the 200-day EMAs on the daily chart here. So yep, for now, guys, the fact that we are going to be seeing a bit of a decline here, that's okay, if as long as it stays above this 3079 territory. So yep, keep your eyes on that one. If by any chance this index reverses sharply to the upside and pushes above the 3155 mark, then yes, keep your eyes on that daily close. Silver. So silver, if gold is pushing higher, silver is drifting lower today. So as you can see, from the technical side, silver kind of tried to overcome this downside line taken from the high of the 2nd of June. However, it did 3 times this week. So yeah, on Monday it did so. It tried to overcome it. Then yesterday the commodity kind of overshot this downside line, and today it did the same thing. However, today it is drifting lower, it's pushing to the downside, but as you can see, it's finding some good support near the 21-day EMA here. So for now, we'll take a bit of a neutral stand here, because in a way, for us to maybe start looking at some lower levels on this one, we would prefer to wait for a drop below the 16.95, 96 zone, which is currently the lowest point of June, and then aim for lower levels. But again, for now, guys, although it is drifting a little bit lower today, still, as you can see, the 21-day EMA is kind of acting as a good area of support. So if it does the trick, and if it continues to do so and continues to hold the price from dropping lower, then a nice reversal could be possible. However, to get a little bit on the cautious side and to be on the safe side, we'll wait for a break above this, or ideally I would say a nice daily close above this downside line taken from the high of the 2nd of June, and then we will aim for higher levels. Brent oil. So Brent oil, I talked about this one this morning as well, and basically the commodity is drifting a little bit to the downside today, as you can see. So, but it remains still above this upside support line taken from the low of the 22nd of April. So what I was mentioning, what I was talking about this morning, was that even if we get a break below this upside line, still the more ideal level after a break of which we could aim for further declines could be from around the 36.96 level, because what we don't want to see here is basically a range here roughly between this 36.96 level and the 43.40 levels. So for now, you can see that the price, the commodity, the black gold, kind of got a hold up near this 43.40 zone, although yesterday did overshoot it a little bit, but still closed the daily candle below it. So yep, in a way, this barrier kind of proves to be quite a significant one for Brent oil. However, if this upside support line does provide support and does hold the price from dropping lower, then maybe we could see this one reversing back to the upside. But again, let's be on the safe side, guys, and let's probably wait for a push above the 43.40 zone, and ideally a daily close above that could do the trick here for more buyers. Now then, Ripple. So Ripple is a bit on the tricky side, because as you can see today, the crypto fell lower. It almost tested this the low of the 21st of April near the 0.1813 zone, and kind of rebounded back up. So in a way, what we could say here, that what's happening here, maybe the crypto is kind of forming a possible descending triangle. However, we cannot really talk about that yet, and in a way, for us maybe to consider lower levels on this one, we would prefer to wait for a drop below the 0.1743 zone, which, as you can see, acted as a very good area of support here back on the 16th of April, and also is marked near the lowest point of May. Now, if we do get a drop below this territory, below the 0.1743 zone, then yes, lower levels could be met, and because this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and more sellers could be joining in here. So that's why be very careful for now, guys. Like I said, although yes, we are drifting lower today, but it's currently finding a bit of support near this 0.1813 level. If this area breaks and the crypto starts moving lower, still the more comfortable level after a break of which we could consider the downside would be from the 0.1743 zone. Now then, jumping into a few pairs, and this one probably you don't look at very often, but nevertheless it's quite interesting because as you can see, this is US dollar against the Mexican peso, and for now, looking at it from the short-term perspective, we may be noticing here a possible this ascending triangle forming now, with the upper side of it being near the 22.81 territory, and yep, as you can see, we have this upside support line right here, which kind of for now, and this one's taken from the low of the 10th of June. Now, again, for now, we will stay calm and careful and cautious and probably more on the neutral side, because in a way, for us to get excited about higher levels, well, obviously, as you understand already and follow, we would need to see a naked break above this 22.81 zone, and ideally a daily close, because we don't want to get anything like this, where what we had here on the 12th of June, where we had a nice breakout, but then the candle sold off heavily. So that's why we would prefer to wait for a nice daily close here above this area, and then aim for higher levels, where the next area of resistance could be somewhere near the 23.55 mark, and that's the near the lows of the 10th and the 8th and 11th of May. So yep, keep your eyes on that one, guys. It could be quite interesting, but again, for now, be very careful. For now, probably stay a little bit on the neutral side and wait for that confirmation break. If this upside line gets broken, the lower side of the potential kind of ascending triangle, then of course we will start looking at some lower levels, especially if it falls below this 22.2855 area, roughly around there. If it drops below this, then yes, maybe a move towards the current lowest point of June near the 21.46 zone could be possible. So that's why wait for the exit, and then then we could do something with it. But again, for now, like I said, we are leaning a little bit more to the upside. However, to get comfortable with higher levels, we need that confirmation break here above the 22.81 zone. GBPCAD, now here, this is what I talked about this morning. The pair did push higher. It found resistance near the 21-day EMA, and is now kind of showing a bit of weakness. However, don't get me wrong, the pair could still travel a little bit higher, maybe test this downside line taken from the high of the 1st of May, and if this downside line does prove to be a strong area of resistance, then we may see another round of selling. So, but again, for now, from the very short-term perspective, we are still maybe leaning a little bit more to the upside here from the very short term. But like I said, keep your eyes near this downside line. If this downside line gets broken, yep, we could start looking at some higher levels here. But again, ideally, we would prefer to see a push above the current highest point of June near the 1.7175 zone, and then can aim for higher levels. Until then, like I said, if the rate moves higher but fails to move above this downside line, like I said, we could see another round of selling. Now, euro against the New Zealand dollar. Now, I talked about this one this morning in my video, and basically here the situation is quite interesting, because like I said, we are still in the positive territory here for the day, but as you can see, the pair is still struggling with this barrier, the 1.7590 zone. So basically, we need to see a nice confirmation break above this barrier in order to aim for higher levels, because such a move would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and maybe more buyers could be joining in here. So as you can see, this is quite a key area of resistance, because previously it acted as a good area of support here back on the 11th of May, and by the way, it's the lowest point of May as well, and then you can see that in around mid-June it acted as a strong area of resistance. So that's why we maybe even prefer to see a nice daily close above this in order to kind of aim for higher levels. But for now, probably we'll play the waiting game and wait for that confirmation break if that ever happens. Because if it doesn't, if this pair struggles to overcome this barrier and reverses lower, then keep your eyes on the 1.7330 zone. If that gets broken, then it could open the door towards the current lowest point of June, near the 1.7190 zone. But if that fails to withhold, then well, guess what? I mean, we could see another lower low, and further declines could be possible. But again, for now, it's closer to this barrier, so let's see how it's going to perform around here. And finally, EURUSD. This one is retracing today. That's absolutely fine because, I mean, again, it had a good run on Monday and on Tuesday, so today we're seeing a bit of a correction, and this move lower could be seen as a temporary correction unless the rate starts sharply falling back below the 1.1237 zone, or even back below the 1.1168 territory, which is basically the lowest point of last week. A nice good drop below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and more sellers could be joining in. So that's why for now, guys, probably take a bit of a careful approach here. In order to consider the downside, wait for a drop below the 1.1168 zone. And in terms of the upside, again, let's be also on the safe side and wait for a break above at least above the 1.1353 territory in order to kind of consider higher levels, because this is near the highest point. This level is the highest point of last week, and also this week. Yesterday, the pair did try to kind of get close to this level, and it did, but failed to kind of even overshoot it by at least a little bit. But so that's why so basically you got a hold up here, a good hold up near this 1.1353 level. So that's why we're going to keep an eye on this one. A nice good pop above this could open the door towards higher levels. So for now, let's probably stay a bit on the neutral side and wait for a confirmation break. So guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. If you want to catch my video tomorrow morning, as always, my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, guys, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.